trophy. You gotta wait until next year, and you gotta try to get through the Thai teams. But for now, we gotta get onto the matter at hand. It's gonna be purgatory for map number 1 between these 12 teams. Best part is that they don't need to worry about not switching groups. This is going to be their opponents until the very end of phase number 2. More time to adapt. And we're seeing a bit of a shift. Sem9 now taking Mode House.
Yeah, I mean, we used to see Anxiety kind of take Mode House yesterday itself, but I think Anxiety are thinking more about playing the long game here because they're kind of late in jumping out of the plane, which tells me that they want to try to find an area that's a little bit more clear and less heavy on action so that they can focus more on their farm. Unfortunately, they are landing the same island together with Flash. In the meantime, MDH, another Vietnamese squad here that hasn't been as successful as their fellow veteran who are in that first page, are now getting into a bit of a fight now. Nuke getting himself knocked down, but the Axel also being able to, Axel getting the trade onto him. Nero's trying his very best to find a trade, finds one in the form of too fast, but then now they are going to be scrambling around to see if they can spot any other members of Expanse, because right now MDH has gotten Nuke back, but they haven't really been able to keep an eye out for where Expanse's position is, so they are spreading out a little bit, making sure they hold their positions and find some good cover, but we also see that other squads are starting to get into the mix as well. First Raiders down by the north inside.
Both MDH and Expand have already sent one of their members to kind of be away from this compound just in case they suffer a wipeout. And it seems like this time it's going to be Expand losing that fight. You know, MDH getting some sweet revenge, partially courtesy from First Raiders who are coming to crash the party. Good news for Expand, Cobra has already gone far away from this area, so he should be able to revive the rest of his team. Gotta keep running though, Cobra, because this is a very populated zone, and you don't want to be the first team to get knocked out. At least not after having such a solid lead yesterday.
Well, if FR wants to be a third party in this fight right now, they're going to have to commit really hard, but I think it's going to be difficult given that MDH is able to get themselves back to full strength with Nuke being revived. And NP is going to find a couple of members of FR trying to flank him, so he's going to put a few hot shots. Unfortunately, he's going to get knocked down by Lozzy though, as Anxiety is meanwhile locked in their own battle there going on in the south side. First Raiders though, they're still holding on to this site here. Souza getting a good grenade shot against Nero, and what a good play here by Don't Cry, putting up the blue walls, but unfortunately he can only hold out for so long before the double pistols from Lozzy puts an end to his streak here. So First Raiders successfully third-partying the fight against MDH, sending them straight to the lobby.
This is an absolute tragedy for MDH. You know, at first we did see them send one of their members away, but perhaps they got a bit of confidence after they were winning the skirmish against Expand, not realizing that First Raider came to the compound. And just a very brutal way to go out, but maybe First Raiders will now face the wrath of their compadres from Indonesia. You know, they were united showing up to Brasilia. Definitely a very hot zone. Cobra still looking for a revival point. There is one near campsite, as long as he doesn't get spotted out by VGM. But, you know, First Raiders, they don't have much time to kind of recuperate themselves. Not much room to breathe. They are united, slowly encircling this area. Lozzy, you have to be the first point of contact, trying to play ring around the Rosie, but unfortunately surrounded from multiple angles and only a couple of glue walls to keep him safe. He is still putting on those dancing shoes, tries to swing the corner to catch out Virus, but Virus has the better weapon, the double barrel shotgun, ending it all. Lozzy goes down.
Yep. Right now, with things happening here, I really consider this a fourth party now or fifth party here, because First Raiders, they would want third partying MDH versus Expand early on. Now they're getting third party here by Dewa, so now a fourth challenger has entered the ring, and Dewa seems to be very rapidly moving around Brasilia here, trying to see if they can wrap around and try to catch First Raiders a little bit down. But Darko catches one of them just around the eyesight. In the meantime, Aikal gets himself taken down there by a nice sniper shot from Dewa, so this is putting even more pressure on the First Raiders here. I think they're going to have to think about peeling back here. Unfortunately, Souza is still going to be too close there to escape, so he's likely going to try to hold his ground here to allow his teammate to escape.
Good news for Expand, they are all back on the map. It's going to take them a while to, you know, kind of arm themselves again, but at least they're still in the round. First Raiders continuing to try and kind of peel away from the rest of Dewa United, but unfortunately they are very much split up. Souza will have to buy as much time as possible to ensure the survival of his team. Just probably surrender himself to Dewa United at the very end of this, but not without putting up a fight. Souza still staying alive, only a tree to protect him. Finally gunned up by Virus. It's looked very easy. Dewa United claiming the third point.
Yep, it seems too easy for them, but it's because Sosa has gotten away. But oh, look at where First Raiders has just bumped into, literally into the middle of Sem9 here. Darkall's been spotted. A single shot from Zen-OP ends his life right there. First Raiders Eclipse sent to the lobby in 11th place.
Sometimes you wish you just were not wearing a helmet. It's very unlucky circumstances for First Raiders, and we're seeing a foot chain, right? So MDH again expand, MDH gets eaten, and then afterwards it's First Raiders. Sem9 getting a free one out of that. VGM still very much out in the open. They were spotted out by Jaboywa, I believe, from Anxiety, who was driving around in a car, but expand finally using that space, able to use the space that they got early on, but thanks to Cobra escaping, they're gonna get some ammo, some of their resources now, holding a high ground as well. Axis engaging with Dewa United. It seems like the cycle just keeps on going.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is going to be the stage of the competition now that things could be cooling down a bit. I'm not going to be expecting to see many teams, except for those who are gathered in the center of the circle here, really to try to find any fights. But, you know, outside of teams like Sem9, Expand, the other squads are definitely going to have to try to see what good opportunities lie in front of them without exposing themselves to too much risk, because the last thing they will want is just continue feeding these higher tier teams there, at least in terms of overall score, and just basically not being able to benefit off of that as well. So that's why we're seeing a lot more third partying going on here, because it seems like the best kind of strategy is literally be the last person to show up to any big fight here.
That kind of normally, you know, eating the scraps isn't a positive thing, but in Battle Royale, that's kind of what you want to do. Fun fact about Axis, interesting fact, in fact, is that they are not playing with Flame today. It's going to be Xzag, and you know, this guy has had a very good reputation in the local scene, one of the most veteran players that we have. So, for the past few months, you know, when he had his stint with Todak, and now with Axis, it felt like he hasn't gotten that shine that he had from way back then. Hopefully today is going to make a change for Axis, because they are one of the bottom feeders right now. They need a big push. Xzag is kind of one of those candidates that you can always rely on.
So Axis is going to be banking on his ability there to carry them through some of the tougher fights here. Things are looking really tough right now, because, you know, we still have 10 teams, 10 squads to go, and they're all starting to gather up in this next circle. Right now, Sem9 seems to have enemies in all 360 degrees of directions they can look at here. I mean, you got Farang on the western side, you got Dewa on the eastern side. We got an airship literally going to be cutting across there, so this is going to be a last chance for some more revives to come through. But then we already see King of Gamers locked in battle right now with Dewa, but Dewa in the meantime are also a little bit preoccupied trying to send shots to Sem9, who they just spotted coming up from the riverbank here. So can King of Gamers actually capitalize on this, though? I'm not too sure at this point, because if they do come out the open, they're going to be exposed to fire from Expands and possibly even Heavy, who are now just only joining them inside the circle, and possibly might become a third party to this Sem9 versus Dewa fight.
It is a very dangerous spot for Sem9 to be in. Not only are they out in the open, but like you said, they are surrounded by so many teams. You know, Dewa United, Heavy, a bit far away, but you have Farang as well. And now Sem9, they really want to cut into a safe compound, but unfortunately, the nearest compound is taken by Axis, and this is where Sem9 will have to kind of push for it. Xzag, the first one to go down, the child that Axis are banking their hopes on, no longer standing. Shine getting a trail to newbie, but Raph, he also falls. Xzag been brought back up. Sem9, they need to beat Axis, and seems like they're doing a pretty good job at it. They have the numbers advantage. Raja shows up. Shahid and Raph are no longer in the fight. Axis just forcefully evicted from their homes, and they are not out. They are not safe yet. They forced into the hands of Team Flash by Sem9. A tragic ending to Axis' opening round. They still have one last survivor, but Expand, they might have their eyes on him. Is Xzag, the guy that Axis brought in to make a difference, but it seems like the only difference is not going to even be a reality if he gets caught up by Expand, who is hearing all those footsteps. Roy have just found him, I think.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to follow his tails here. He sees him, gets a shot. Glue wall comes out just in time to save his life, though. So he's going to be able to hold it a little bit longer. Now the glue wall breaks down, but he's already hiding inside the building. So Exact should be able to stay out of the clutches of X-Roy at this point. And oh boy, now he's been knocked down completely, and X-Roy should be able to come in to finish him off for good. And Axis now down to only 666. Raph alone in the middle of this next safe zone, but like Sem9 moments ago, he's completely surrounded by enemies on all sides. And I gotta say, for Sem9's case though, they literally did what the best they could do in their situation, which was literally jump out and try to engage another squad here. And I think like getting the trade of Exact there for newbie, I think is really good here for Sem9. Just from like being able to cut down one of the most dangerous members of Axis Esports there. But now it's going to be down to Zenop and Raja though, as they lose victory in that last fight and now are going to be holed up in the second floor.
Exact did the best he could, bought Raph back before he went down, but Raph also got caught out. It's not much pace for him to be in. Sem9 making one of the more coordinated pushes. That's kind of what we wanted to see. They had to take that risk. It paid off, but now they are being pressured by Team Flash, who took out one of their members early on. KOG on the other end felt like this was an inevitable fight between VGM that was just waiting to explode, and this festering battle is going to kick off right now. KOG with Oscar kind of in the front line. He knows that the VGM members are right opposite this wall. Bingsu breaks that glue wall. They're about to go in for the kind of pour. But KOG still holding on. JLX, good shot. Ban first to go. VGM suffering a first blood in the hands of KOG, and KOG so far are still stacked together. JLX pressuring VGM from the outside of the building. Vantan gets a good shot into Osaka, but KOG, they have time to bring him back up. Osaka now ready for battle once more. VGM try to flood into the machine, but that is not where you want to do. They get decimated by KOG.
Yeah, get decimated, and with Defirus just finding an opportunity here for Dewa, they are now going to be third-partying this fight here. Now going up against King of Gamers, just fresh off of that victory. Now Dewa looks to try to punish them for having taken out another squad here. And looks like Firuz is successful in that regard, taking out a couple of members right now, but then they lose Rain in the process. Now they're going to try to find some additional trades here. King of Gamers still has 2 members around here at least. Now they manage to catch JLX. Can they find even more here? Right, fighting out in the open here is Firuz as he locks himself in together with another member of KOG. He takes out that member of KOG there. Oscar Kevin taken down completely, and King of Gamers have been sent out to the lobby.
2 versus 4 working in the favor of Dewa United, but guess what? The food chain, this is the circle of life. Welcome to Purgatory. Heavy now shows up, and Dewa United were like, come on guys, we just took out KOG. They wanted a highlight reel, but it didn't last long. Heavy dispatched the rest of Dewa United. It's only 2 kills, but man, that could have been a sweet victory if they got to savor it.
This is literally like the best visual representation of dog eat dog, because they're just eating each other, literally just fresh off of being eaten. So wow, I mean, this is again, you know, a classic battle royale sort of like experience here, where you know teams just constantly one-upping each other now, and just because things are so crowded here, we've seen these close quarter fights that are quite rare to see actually in Free Fire, but this is how the circumstances are right now, and we're all here for it. It's Anxiety gets himself taken out from Jemball's good sniper shot right now. 5 teams still remain.
Yeah, 3 teams in this compound. Sem9, the one at a disadvantage is 2 members on Sem9 versus 4 from Flash and 4 from Expand. But it feels like Expand are the one under the most pressure, with both Team Flash shooting at them, and Sem9 just decides to casually lob utilities at Expand, who are out in the open. Expand needing to find a detour, and they do. Finds a compound. That's where Minao is at right now, but if Sem9 can flush him out, then they will kind of have a safe haven, just temporarily, as they get ready for the last phase. But the circle, not in their favor though. It has kind of skewed towards the Vietnamese team. Flash are going to run into VGM, with Heavy having majority of the circle control.
I would love to see more circles like this here, especially on top of Brasilia, because we've seen so many like varieties of battles happening here on the open ground, inside the buildings, first floor, the second floor. Right now, Sem9 is still hanging on for dear life, but unfortunately, the blue wall is closing in around them. Farang is also in here as well, and they're also in the full stack. Flash as well are just getting into the next circle here, and they're already caught out. Sem9, Zenop has been taken out to the pastures now, and it's mostly the ones inside the safe zone here is both Flash, Farang here as well as Heavy. Expand now is going to be making the way down towards that side, but Jambo with the grenade takes down Bloody. Can he get another one? Shin takes a lot of damage and he tries to bring Bloody back into the battle now, but BAO at the same time is also doing a number onto Flash at the moment, as right now they're just exchanging gunfire here. High ground versus building here versus low ground at the moment. Yanbin right around the outside of the house here. Spawns Expand trying to take over this house that currently is being held by Farang, and is also trying to take pot shots at them, potentially trying to see if he can catch any additional stragglers coming out of this fight. But Expand gets himself taken down with Fudai getting a shot with the shotgun, and now it looks like it's going to be down to 3.
Yeah, Farang, not much kills, but they've held on to this compound for the longest time. Can they keep on going? Buffalo has just shown up, people. The first grenade onto Shin. Team Flash, first one to take contact and receive the heat from Heavy as Farang continues to hold on to this last compound. They're playing time, they're letting the circle do most of the work, and Buffalo goes for the spray down against Yanbin. Tom XT also wants a couple of their limelight moments as Spade, he will steal that kill away. Farang still 4-man strong. Heavy, they are the one engaging in combat. Two-man jumps up on the second floor, but into the hands of Buffalo. Jembao gets Fudai out. Farang, they're playing this to the best of their abilities. This is the Farang they've been waiting to see, and so far things are working out perfectly. Farang getting those knocks. Shin responds. Heavy goes down. Farang have the numbers, and Farang have just done it. The opening round of Phase 2, Day 2 goes over to Farang.
Wow, these guys somehow thrive in the chaos sometimes, because what a crazy circle that was. Landing in the middle of Brasilia, in the middle of all this complexes, means there's a mix of open ground as well as buildings to fight for, and Farang did the right thing by literally holding on to the very building they control, and pretty much were lucky as well that the safe zone landed on the top of them. But what happened after that?